YouTube, what's good with it, fam? How everybody doing? It's your boy Big Kizzle again. First off, giving all glory to God. Back off in this thing with another one. You know how I do it. I'm gonna go ahead and jump straight off into it. Head first off the diving board, y'all. Hello? Come here. Alright, so like, check this out, y'all. I got the camera pointed so y'all can see the full moon in the background. And why I'm discussing the full moon right now, it brought me to this this mood that I'm in, that I thought I should share with you all. And it's related to self-control. Self-control when it comes to your attitude, how you speak, how you react, your emotions. That's mainly what I want to hit on today. So the moon, if you don't know, the moon shifts energy. Full moons, some people act weird. Some people get more in tune with themselves. Some people just snap out. Snap out. And I'm speaking about snapping out. No, get off me. I'm speaking about snapping out because I had one of the worst attitudes in the world growing up as a kid. Worst attitude. I grew up with my grandparents. I always had to get the last word. I always talk back. Every time you look back, my grandma reaching back with a belt, swinging it, So I always had a very, very bad attitude problem. I don't think my attitude shifted until I went into the military. And that's what gave me more control over how I speak and how my anger, that's what gave me control over my anger. I would say the military, because that was the only time I remember I even got an award for most improved attitude or something like that. I was snap. I snap so fast on you. I snap on you quicker than a old rope that's about to break. I was snap. And that hunted me throughout my life. My grandma used to pop me in the mouth and say I talk too much. Because I always had an attitude. I always had to get the last word. If I felt like I was right, you're gonna know that I felt like I was right. If you was wrong, you wasn't gonna rest until I called myself proving you wrong. And that was as a kid. I've been doing that since a young child, y'all. Today, it was a lot of traffic. A whole lot of traffic. I think they had some event. And I was in traffic. And I watched a lot of people get into it. Some people was getting up out of their cars, arguing with each other, things of that nature. It was just that bad. And I started thinking about road rage and how I used to be ready to fight all the time when something went wrong. My patience level was thin. Self-control is really, it's a great characteristic to have, because what good is it to be able to control the TV and the channels with your remote control, but you can't control yourself with self-control? Hello? The world is built around energy, frequencies, and vibrations. Depending on your mood. Have you ever been able to talk smooth while you was in a bad mood? Are you able to control how you feel in such an environment that's full of positivity, even if you're feeling wrong or somebody done you wrong? Can you control yourself? Self-control is a journey. It is a journey. It doesn't go away or come with the snap of a finger. Every day I have to practice. Every day I have to practice to choose not to go off on nobody. Let me tell y'all a story. I heard this story of an 83-year-old woman. She was at the fast food restaurant. And it was some young people behind her leaning in on the horn, not just blowing like burp, 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 burp. It was burp, leaning, just leaning in on the horn. So the story goes, This older woman smiled. She smiled and she pulled up to the first window, and they started yelling and blowing the horn at her, of course. So she paid for both her meal and the next car that was behind her paid for their meal too. So when she got to the second window to get her food, I'm guessing the cashier must have told the car behind her, "Hey, somebody paid for your food." The woman who you was blowing at paid for your food. And as the older woman moved to the second window, she said she could see the woman behind her waving and thanking her all out the window. Just I guess because she felt weird and I'm just gonna stupid because she got killed with kindness. Once the older woman got to the next window, she showed the people both receipts. She paid for both food, her food and the woman behind. She took the woman food, y'all, and her food and drove off. So now the woman behind her has to go back around the line and start all over from the jump. Hello? Self-control. If the car behind her had any self-control and to see that this was an older person, then maybe they could have maybe they could have got their food without having to start all over. But due to lack of self-control, the older woman finessed her. You got finessed. So it's not always cool to express how you feel all the time. Hello? Sometimes it's better to control that. Energy, frequencies, and vibrations. Don't you know that the world, nature, the grass, flowers, trees, process? Think of self-control again. They don't get mad. They just go with the flow. When it's sunlight, they grow. When the storm is coming, they lean to the left, lean to the right, but they grow. Us, we won't grow when we express anger. When you speak out of anger, you don't control your emotions. There is nothing weaker about a person who can't control themselves. Especially when they try to control everything else. Self-control is way better to have than a remote control. There was also a study I read. It was an experiment that scientists did with plants. And based on different types of music that the plants listened to, we had different results. When they played jazz, classical music, the plants continued to grow and flourish. When they played hard rock, heavy metal, and rap music, plants died. The frequencies from the plants couldn't live from the frequencies and the vibration of that music. So think of us, ourselves, our body is plants. What we input, we process, and we output. More than likely, if you have no self-control and we're lashing out, it's because of what we input. Negative music, negative movies, always feeling like we gotta keep it real. So if a plant can't survive off listening to rap music, what is going on with us and our kids who listen to rap music daily, all day? We have a lack of self-control. As I sit here and listen to the animals, insects, and the crickets in the background, everything is calm, everything is still. And I feel peaceful. The moment something goes wrong, I say to myself, all right, what is going on? What is going on? Before we react. God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth. 2 ears and 1 mouth. MOUF. Don't even get tripping off my lingo. Why do you think we have 2 ears and 1 mouth? I'm gonna tell you what I think. Because we should listen more than we speak. When we have no self-control, we get to blabbing and running off at the mouth instead of listening, observing, and then speaking. I'm not trying to teach anybody nothing, but I do want to share things that helped me throughout my life when it comes to my bad attitude and talking back to my parents and my grandparents. Because one thing that I notice is missing that has been told to children these days is what my grandma used to tell me: a disobedient child days will be cut short. Hello? There's no way we can plan to live long and sit up there with God on his throne if our days are cut short from lack of self-control. That's just one of the few characteristics. But as a child, that was the main thing they came at with me with, my attitude. No self-control. Thinking that it made me look macho, but it makes you look weak. It makes you look weak. I love y'all. I'm gonna put down this message, and I want you to put down the remote control, and let's try to pick up self-control. Every day is a journey, for myself included. I love y'all. Don't let nothing rattle your skin. Because once something gets up under your skin, it controls you. If a person can make you lash out at them and lose your self-control, they control you. You are a master to them now. I'll be back with another one. I hope substance come out of this. Sleep well. Enjoy your night, y'all. Love y'all. 1.